as usual. This one's going to be a little different. Besides the setting, this is my corner in my room. Some interesting stuff up there if you can see it. So this video is going to be on fundraising ideas. So looking at some ways to raise support. So I'll just be discussing a little bit about a few different ideas and ways to raise financial support, whether it's for long-term international mission trips or raising money for like a school event. I don't know. These are some really good ways that I found personally from experience that work fairly well. And as well as some other ideas that I've heard from other raisers or other people who fundraise, or essentially just like crowdsource funds. So the first way is by sending out letters to a large pool of people. So these letters contain essentially like a little backstory at the beginning to tell how you became involved with whatever it is you're doing, moving on to why you are doing it, which could be tied into that backstory, and then moving into why you're fundraising and why you're asking the person you're asking why you're fundraising and what specifically you're asking them to do, whether that is to tell people or to come to your event or to give you money. These letters can be anywhere from like half a page to like a book. Strongly recommend not making these letters more than like a page and a half. Commonly people aren't reading like physical text that way right now, so I would say keep your letters to about a page max, including heading, address, like contact info, and all the way through your closing. Also in those letters, mention when you plan to follow up with those people. Follow-up is important, coming from a person who doesn't enjoy follow-up very much. Follow-up is important, so make sure you follow up in the time frame that you've like stated in your letter. Way number 2 is making phone calls and sending out emails or sending out emails. I personally enjoy talking to people, so I'd much rather send out a phone call than sending an email, because emails are kind of impersonal and you can't really understand where I'm coming from. You can't hear me in the way I'm inflecting through an email. Always. Sometimes you can. Depends on how well you know me. My emails are a variation of like the physical letter that I'm sending out. But it's more brief because no one wants to read like a page of text, but in like email format, because that's weird and annoying and just a lot of stuff. Pro tip, no super long emails. If you are going to just give them all of that information, send it within an attachment. So the email consists of like, hey, here's this thing, and I've attached a letter saying blah 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 blah, and then attach the letter. I personally find that it's a really great way to just have like a relationship with people. People want to know you through what you're doing, and people are here to support you and not always the cause, because these people aren't always engaging with the cause, but they are engaging with you. Another way to raise support is to essentially build a contact book. So your friends, your families, those weird people in your recitation that you don't really talk to and that you kind of like avoid eye contact with, the people who are like hogging your practice room, the people who are standing in line in front of you at like the grocery store that you see every week on Saturday at like 4:27 p.m. So all of those people, and then also asking for referrals. So from the huge contact book that you've created through everyone you know, asking those people to send you more people, to just broaden your network so that you have essentially larger access to more people to send out these letters, phone calls, emails. Essentially, the more people you can ask, the faster you can potentially meet your fundraising goal and have more people support you in what you are doing. Like the whole like many hands light work thing. Another great way is food or service based stuff. So I've hosted a small series of food fundraisers with a suggested donation of like $10, I think, per event, where I just made a bunch of food, invited some people over, and like, hey, let's hang out and I'll tell you about the world race, and it'd be super cool if you donated like $10 to help me like get there. Another thing that you could do is like make goods or provide some service. So I know of people, specifically on my squad, there's one person who's a really great painter. So she's been having works commissioned, and she's fulfilling those commissions and sending them out and asking essentially for her work, the effort and like the physical labor hours and the material costs, stuff like that, to be essentially donated to her. Those turn out really well because they see your heart behind what you're doing and just like your love for people. Number 5 is hosting different events. So I could, for example, host like a ball or a dance or something. I know that some people host 5Ks or other sports competitions. There's a guy on my squad, I believe, who is trying to organize a volleyball competition. So hosting those type of events are another great way to do it. Those take a lot more planning on the back end. So if you have the time and the capacity to do that, do it. If you don't, like me, don't. Something else, way number 6, that you could do is a fundraiser that I've found to be called Adopt the Box. I'm not sure like where it originated from, but it essentially looks something like this, where you create a template that has however many boxes you want on there, and you essentially sell them to anyone who's willing to adopt them. So for example, box number 3 is the monetary value of that box is $3, or at least $3. So someone could donate $3 one time, or $3 monthly, $3 weekly, more than $3 one time, stuff like that. But I personally am doing Adopt the Box, and I have 150 boxes total. The reason I did 150 boxes is because the way that essentially that Adopt the Box is so successful is because you are essentially selling every single box for the value inside said box. So the value of all of these boxes 1 through 150 comes to $11,325, which is the vast, well, no, it is a majority of my fundraising total. So with all of the other fundraising that I'm doing, I thought this would be a great supplement, especially if I'm not getting like the monthly support that I have been praying for, stuff like that. So this is another great one. I've seen it work well for others in the past, which is why I'm doing it. And right now I think it's generated more than like $800 in donations, and I think like 13 to 20 boxes have been adopted, which is, in my opinion, super impressive, and I've truly been blessed by it. Another way is selling prayer jars. This one I've seen specifically in terms of World Race. So if you don't know, I'm going to 11 countries in 11 months. And so the people that are doing this are typically selling prayer jars. They're essentially mason jars with a country, a theme of some sort ascribed to the jar, and they are selling them to individuals who are, I think a jar is like $10, for example, and they're putting spare change, any more money, like $1, $5, $10, $17, into the jar, as well as any prayers that they have for the person to read in said country throughout the race, on special occasions, stuff like that. So that's another great way that I think would work. I personally do not know, but I've seen it done frequently. But those are 7 ways to raise support. So as is the new thing, give this a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and if you are able, donate $1. The link will be down there somewhere, right by calling, maybe. Yeah, catch you in the next one. Bye.